Hi, welcome. My name is Richard Gardner from Frameworks Yoga. This is the Frameworks Yoga weekly video subscription. Every week, starting this week is the first week. I hope you enjoy it. There are 2 full-length yoga practices for people to practice at home or wherever they are. I'm also hoping to add some more bonus material, additional footage as the weeks go on. It's an experiment for me. I hope you enjoy this. If you're interested in subscribing, you can go to my website, rgyoga.com. There's information there. It's $10 a week for the full-length videos, and I hope you enjoy it. So this video I'm calling this particular practice Light Returning to its Source. This is the more dynamic of the 2 practices this week. I am looking to first get energy into the hands and the feet. So a lot of work for hands and feet to start. Oftentimes, even if we sort of have energy in our center, it needs somewhere to go. So I'm looking to do a couple practices to open up hands, open up feet. And then we'll do a pretty vigorous sequence, standing postures, some plank variations, and after that, come back down, do some abdominal work, and close our practice. So let's start. Just lie on your back. So we start here. We'll start from a static place. And notice if there's any tension in your system, allow that tension to melt down, soften away. And take a few breaths into your low abs. And then from here, please draw your knees into your chest. So give your either hamstrings, hands can be behind hamstrings. Hands can be around shins. You can draw the whole ensemble in and breathe here a few times. So this is rounding the spine a little bit. As you draw your knees in a little, you go into a bit of a flexion of the spine. So you breathe in your back body a bit. Deep inhale. Big exhale. And then please hold your right knee into your chest as you extend your left leg forward. So if this is too intense, you can always keep your foot on the floor. If it's available, start sliding your heel forward. And if you can extend your leg fully, that's great. As you hug your right knee in, drive your left heel way far out. And breathe a few times into low abs here. You can wiggle your toes a little bit, so you're from mind's eye down to your feet. Yeah, open toes, closed toes. And then release and switch sides. So you hug your left knee into chest. Keep it there, and the right foot can be on the floor. You can start extending your right heel. Your right leg does not have to be straight, but if it's straight, that's great. And as you hug your left knee in, drive your right heel out. And again, breathe a few times. Move your ankles around, move toes. Trying to get your brain into your feet. Okay. And then both knees into chest. You can repeat that again, or option number 2, we can start with happy baby pose. So instead of holding knees in, you hold the tops of your feet. The knees go a little wider, and you start drawing your knees toward the floor. Again, this will flex your spine a little bit, put it into a forward bend by lifting the tailbone up. That's fine. That's a feature, not a bug. And breathe a few times here. And so at this point, option 1 is knees into chest. Option number 2 is here. And so you can either keep your right knee into chest or keep your right leg where it is. Left foot flat on the floor. You can keep your left foot where it is, or if it makes sense, you start to extend your left heel forward and drive your heel out. Okay, so the leg is straight to Ning. If it's straight, great. If not, great. But this winds up being an upward facing lunge, which we'll get to when we get into our standing postures. This is going to be a pretty big stretch for for the hips. So breathe into it, face relaxed. And then from here, bring yourself back into either knees in the chest or happy baby pose. Pause here and let's switch sides. So you're going to keep your left knee where it is, hug your left knee in or left knee down toward the floor. Right foot flat on the ground. And you can either stay here or if it makes sense, you extend your leg forward, press your heel out, and breathe. And if this side's a little bit tighter or more open, just kind of notice it. It's not better or worse, it's just different. And a couple more breaths here. Very good. So come back into happy baby pose or draw both knees in the chest. Take a deep breath in. And exhale from there, release. Feet flat on the floor. Pause here, take an inhale. And exhale. Great. And then please come up to a comfortable seat. I'll be changing orientations during these videos, but you can just stay wherever you are. If I'm going to turn forward, I'm going to take the right shin in front of the left. And first option here for Sukhasana, forward fold, is to take your sitting bones back and start reaching your hands forward. So, depending on your hips, hands can stay here. As you forward fold, hands can go onto the mat. You can slide your arms forward if that's a thing. And from here, we're going to round our spine a little bit. So the idea is to draw the navel in, and this gives a flexion of your spine. This winds up being the cat in cat-cow. And then breathe into your back body a few times. And you can stay where you are. We're now going to take a variation where you come up a little bit, lift your lungs up a bit, and you're going to reach your arms behind you. So interlace your fingers. If that's not available, shoulders don't allow it, you can always take your strap and bridge the gap with the strap. Okay. So either with a strap or with opposite hand, you make the connection. And from here, the elbows go back as your lungs go forward. So this winds up being a bit more of a back bend, like cow pose. Now, a big suggestion here. The tendency is to lock out elbows, which shuffles the shoulder blades up. I encourage you to bend your elbows, engage your biceps a lot, and send your biceps back as you lift your lungs forward. And 2 or 3 more breaths here. On this one, breathe into your collarbones, breathe into heart center. Squeeze your shoulder blades a little more closely together. Shoulder blades are nice and tight, elbows back, lungs forward. And then you inhale, come up. You can lean back a little bit to switch sides. Okay, and then let's try that sequence again on the other side. Slide your sitting bones back. And if this is as far forward as you go, you round your spine here. You can take your hands on the floor around your spine, reach your arms forward around your spine. However you do that, make sure your knees are okay, make sure all your joints are okay. And we're forward folding with your left shin in front of right. So breathe into the back body. To round the spine is to bring it into cat. A few breaths into your back body. Okay, and then from here, you're going to squeeze the muscles in the back body to arrive up. So the lungs are still going forward, but now instead of down, you're uplifting. And interlace your fingers behind you. Use the strap again if you need it. For on the second side, if you're interlacing your fingers, we always have a certain way to do it, so maybe one thumb is on top. So on the second side, interlace your fingers behind you. Switch the lacing of your fingers. So it's going to feel it's like the weird way to hold your hands. And then we'll repeat this again. Bend your elbows a little bit, engage your biceps a lot, and send your biceps back, lift your lungs forward, and breathe in the collarbones, breathe in the heart center. Elbows squeeze together, shoulder blades squeeze together, and this peels open the heart that we can breathe into. And a few breaths here. Okay, and then make your way upright. You can release your hands, take a couple shoulder rolls in one direction, a couple shoulder blade rolls in the other direction. Great, and let's come forward to hands and knees. If you need extra support for your knees, go ahead and take a blanket, pillows, whatever you have around. So I've been talking about cow for a little bit. Let's check it out. On our exhale, that's cat, and that's a flexion of your spine. So you can round your spine, draw your navel in, and then inhale is cow. That gives a lot of space for the belly and the heart center to breathe into. So this is your inhale, and then exhale, you flex your spine, round it. Inhale, you extend your spine, breathe into the belly, breathe into your heart center, and do this at the pace of your breath once or twice more. Okay, great. So the next time you inhale, find what you feel is a neutral spine. And we're going to take our fingers, spread them across your mat as wide as you can. Fingers as wide as you can. And for these next series of options, I'm looking for a palmar fascia stretch. So the palm, the fascia, the connective tissue of our hands, the palm, that's what I'm looking for. So you spread your fingerprints out as wide as you can. And the knuckles, the first knuckles press down, but the wrists themselves lift. And that changes hands on the ground from like a wrist phenomenon to a palm phenomenon. And so this is option number one. So we're going to stay here for the time being. Curl your toes under. And we're going to lean back, and our toes are curled under for a plantar fascia stretch. So that's the connective tissue in the soles of our feet. So if this hurts the joints, dare to back off, meaning come forward a little bit so there's less weight on your toes, more weight on your hands, okay? If sitting back is okay for your toes but not okay for your knees, feel free to take a block, a pillow, even like a sofa cushion, and that will inhibit the knees from bending more than you'd like, okay? If you need a little more space than that, you can always take it up a little higher, okay? So the block's there for you there. If you can sit back, and that feels okay to add more weight to the toes, instead of getting a palm stretch this way, we're going to sit upright. There's more weight on the toes. Interlace your fingers and press your palms forward. And if you'd like, you can also press your palms up. So, and press the knuckles up. I'm going to turn real quickly just so you can see this. This is wrists up, which tends to be in the joint. To get into the palmar stretch, you press the knuckles up. And that actually straightens your wrists a little bit. So pause here, breathe as much as you can. So here's the end of our limbs, the palms, the toes, curled under. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale, and take a deep breath in. Okay, great. So exhale, come out of that, come to hands and knees, wiggle your toes around. You'll feel blood and sensation in your toes. And then from here, you can curl your toes under again, and let's lift back into downward facing dog. Okay, so first downward dog of the practice. We are bending the knees a little bit, and I'm looking for a little bit of cow. So the little bit of extension in the spine. You're going to slide your sitting bones way up. And that creates a lot of space around your abdomen. You can breathe into that. From here, drive your heels back. And if it's available, you lift your toes off the mat. And so this is a big stretch down the back of the legs. Relax your head, you can move your head around a little bit, and draw your shoulder blades slightly away from your ears. Tendency is for the shoulders to kind of crowd. So if you slide them away, all of a sudden the neck muscles relax a little bit. 2 more breaths. Take a big inhale, big exhale. And one last time, breath in, big exhale. Okay, and then we're going to come up into plank, forward into plank. So, first plank of the practice, tendency is to lock out elbows. Please protect your elbows by bending them. You can engage your biceps a lot. That helps bring some shoulder control. Tendency is for shoulders up. We're going to slide them back. Tendency, if you're a very flexible person, the tendency is to be a little bit more in cow here. So I encourage you to draw the bottom ribs up, and we're going to add a little bit more cat. So it's a little bit of that effort. And 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. Take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And then come back down to hands and knees. For this next practice, this next plank, if you have one block, that's great. We can take your both hands on the block, and this is your plank here. If you have 2 blocks, you can always practice plank here. Okay. But regardless, we're going to come up into plank. And then inhale here, and as you exhale, you're going to step your left foot forward as far as it goes. And as you inhale, go back into plank. And then exhale, step your right foot forward. And then inhale back into plank. And so this is going to be a practice for the next 45 seconds or so, where you inhale in the plank, exhale, you step forward. And I don't care how far you step forward, the movement of the legs to me is what I call a red herring cue. That tends to take up a lot of attention because that's the movement, but most of your energy can be dedicated to keeping yourself in plank. So the tendency is to kind of like move out all over the place and slide your body everywhere. In this one, it actually requires a significant amount of energy to try to keep the rest of your body in plank as you step forward. So go back and forth like that another few times. And it doesn't matter, I don't care if you're stepping 2 inches forward, 2 inches back, 2 inches forward, 2 inches back. Try to keep the plank as static as you can. Okay? So try that one more time per side. Okay, great. And then once you're back in plank, bend your knees, get the block or blocks out of the way. All right, then let's come back into downward facing dog. All right, drive your hands through the floor, drive your feet through the floor, lift your sitting bones up toward the ceiling, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, bend your knees and step up toward the top of the mat. So maybe I'll step like 2/3 forward. And bend your knees quite a bit here. So your spine, as you exhale, round it. And this winds up being cat. As you inhale, squeeze the muscles of your back body. So the hips and legs kind of stay where they are in space. Squeeze the back body. This is more cow. That's your inhale. Exhale, you refold. That's cat. Exhale. And go back and forth like this several times. Inhale as you squeeze your back body. Exhale as you round. And you can draw your navel in. Twice more. Breathe in. Exhale. Breath in. Big exhale. And let's come all the way up now. Arms can sweep up overhead for this one. In breath there. And exhale from there, palms to heart center and by your sides. Okay, and let's appreciate Tadasana here for a moment. We did a fair amount of work already in feet, so drive your feet in through the floor. Notice the width, the depth, the articulations of your fingers, your palms, your hands. Take an inhale here. Big exhale. Interlace your fingers. Switch the lacing of your fingers, so it's going to be the weird way to hold your palms. And then from there, you're going to press your palms skyward. Take a huge inhale here, and exhale, sit down in a chair. All right, so as we're taking the energy from our power center, from our guts, and pressing them both down into the floor and up into the air. So we're really sort of transmitting the power of our core to the power of our periphery. So press the knuckles up toward the ceiling. You can spread your fingers, jazz hands as best you can. Fingers nice and wide. Float your toes a little bit even as you're driving your feet down. And several breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. Natural back benders tend to want to be in cow for this one. So just like we did in plank, please add a little bit of cat. And draw it in a little bit. Deep breath in, big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, you can forward fold. Very nice. Inhale, squeeze the muscles of your back body to come up. This is cow, deep breath in, exhale, fold. Inhale, come up part way. And exhale. So you're gonna plant your hands, right foot steps in between, left foot goes back, and now we're in a lunge with hands on the floor. I should say, well, fingerprints. I usually take my fingerprints on the floor. Some of you might be able to get hands to the floor, but that's not needed. I kind of like the sort of length in the spine here. We'll get to that. But the back leg is nice and straight. And as you inhale, lift your hips up as high as you can, so that approximates pyramid. And then keep your back leg straight as you press your hips down. The tendency is going to be to want to bend back leg straight, even as you push your hips down. And then let's vacillate between these 2 points. Inhale, lift up toward the ceiling. Exhale, press your hips down toward the floor. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale, drive your back heel back. Deep breath in. Big exhale. And breath in. And exhale. Great. And then you come back into a center spot. So spot halfway in between the highest and the lowest. And then drive your feet through the floor. You're going to reach your arms forward, plug your shoulder blades away from your ears, and then lift your navel up off your front thigh, just a little bit. So you're still mostly horizontal. Back body's doing a lot of work. Legs are doing a lot of work because there's very little on the ground. And 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. One last time, breath in. Okay, great. Hands down, step up. Very bendy, forward fold. Take a breath here. Notice the difference between legs. One leg was working very differently than the other one. Great. Keep your left foot where it is. Please step your other foot back. Right leg goes back. All right. And fingerprints can be onto the floor. Jazz hands. And then you're driving your back heel back, lungs come forward. Inhale, you're going to lift your hips up toward the ceiling. That's your in-breath. Exhale, press your hips down toward the floor. And we'll repeat that 5 times total, so this is number 2. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, press your hips down. Back leg is prone to bend, so try to keep it straight and strong. Inhale, deep breath, lift your hips. Exhale, press your hips toward the ground. Twice more breath in. Take a big exhale. And one last time. Take a deep breath in. This is the hips at their highest point. Exhale. Hips at their lowest point. And then you find a place halfway in between. It's a middle path here. Drive your feet through the floor. So feet are driving down now. And you're going to reach your arms forward. And plug your shoulder blades in. And then just lift just up about 1/2 inch off your thigh. Yeah, so it's almost sort of like we're like jumping through a hoop or something. You press your heel back, lungs forward, several breaths here. Big inhale, big exhale. Yeah, drive the entirety of the front foot down. Drive the toes of the back foot down, almost like you're kicking a football. And twice more here. Deep breath in, big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. From here, plant your hands. This time we're going to step back into downward facing dog. Very nice. Lift your upper thighs back, heels bolt back, and lift your toes. 2 breaths here. Take a big inhale into abdomen. Exhale. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. Let's do 1 more. Breath in. Okay, great. And then step up to the top of the mat. Come part way up, which means cow in the spine. Exhale, you refold. And then inhale, come up all the way. Lift your lungs up skyward. Exhale, back through mountain pose. And let's take a sun salutation. Take a deep breath in, arms sweep up overhead. Inhale here. Exhale as you forward fold. You can bend your knees a little bit. Round your spine like cat. Inhale, come up into cow. Arch your back. And then exhale, plant your hands. You can step back into plank. We're going to pause in plank for an inhale. Make sure elbows are unlocked. Shoulder blades away. A little bit of cat. Inhale here. And then exhale, you can lower halfway or all the way down. Tops of feet on the floor. Squeeze your shoulder blades away from your ears, and you can lift up into Cobra, or if you know upward facing dog, you can do that. I'm going to demonstrate Cobra. And then you can go into downward facing dog through hands and knees if you'd like. Curl your toes under, upper thighs lift back. Okay, so from here, from this downward facing dog, you're going to take your left hand to the center of the mat. Inhale here, lift your left leg back and up. And as you exhale, draw your knee in and try to bring your foot as far forward as you can for a lunge. Okay? And depending on the length of your arms and your shins, you might want to stay here. If it's available, you bring your foot into the middle. And then from here, we come back into this. So we've seen this before, so we're good at this. Drive your feet down, lengthen your lungs forward and up. And then from here, you're going to come into cow in your spine, squeeze the muscles of your back body, and come up into high lunge. So you can totally keep your head, eyes on the ground for your balance assist. If it's available, you can look straight ahead. You can look up, whatever you want to do. Breathe. It's like you're breathing like paintbrush strokes up and down the front side of your spine. Breathe in the belly. Continue breathing in the heart. And exhale from the top down. 2 more times here. Take a deep breath in. Jazz hands up top. Exhale. And take a deep breath in. Okay, on exhale, plant your hands. Go back into plank. Take a deep breath here. Buoyancy in the elbows. Shoulder blades away from ears. Exhale, lower halfway down or all the way down. Tops of feet on the floor. Inhale, you come up into Cobra. Perhaps upward facing dog if that's in your practice. And then exhale, come through hands and knees if you'd like. Curl your toes under. Lift back into downward facing dog. All right, very good. So other side, right hand to the middle of the mat. And as you inhale, lift your right leg back and up. That's your deep breath in. And then exhale, you're going to draw the knee, bring the foot forward. And you got to stay here for the lunge that's available. Hands on either side of your foot. All right, and then drive your feet through the floor. Reach your arms forward. So we're jumping through that hoop again. Draw your navel in a little bit. And as you inhale, it's a cow in the spine. You squeeze the muscles of your back body to lift your lungs up. All right, so powerful dynamic pose requires a powerful dynamic breath. Keep on breathing, even though the posture is still. It's not easy. It's very dynamic, very vigorous. Breathe up and down the front side of your spine a few times. Deep breath in the belly. Continue breathing into collarbones. And exhale from the top down. And twice more. Breath in. Big exhale. And one last time, breath in. Okay, and then you plant your hands, go back into a plank on your inhale, buoyancy. As you exhale, lower halfway or all the way down, tops of feet on the floor. Inhale, lift into Cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, you can come through hands and knees if you'd like. Curl your toes under and lift back into downward facing dog. All right, upper thighs lift back, heels drive back, and float your toes up. 3 more breaths here. Breathe up and down like paintbrush strokes up and down the front side of your spine. Okay, as you exhale, bend your knees, step up toward the front of the mat. You're in a cat when you get there. Inhale, lift up into cow. Squeeze the muscles of your back body. Exhale, you refold. This time let's come all the way up. Arms sweep up overhead. And palms come through heart center. And take your Tadasana. Slightly more invigorating Tadasana. Feel palms. Feel the grounding of the feet into the floor. And feeling our power center where it all starts. Great. And you can step out to one side. We're going to take a wide-legged forward fold next. If the feet are too wide, people who don't kind of want to stretch out their hamstrings tend to go really wide because it avoids the hamstrings. I encourage you, especially if the hamstrings are tighter, to bring your feet in a little bit to work on the hamstrings. I myself sort of avoided the hamstrings for a few years when I started practicing. So feet a little closer, and that'll give you more hamstring work. Dare to bend the knees a little bit, and then you're going to take this sort of cow back bend of sending your sitting bones back, and then take your fingerprints to the ground. Okay, so you don't have to turn. I'm just going to turn so you can see the arch of the spine. This is totally a valid cue to round the spine. That's a very common one. I agree, rounding the spine is fantastic. But for today's practice, it's really like the idea is to get the back bend in the spine. And that opens up belly center, opens up power center, opens up heart center. Okay? Now, if you can stay, if you would like to stay here, that's great. Drive your feet through the floor. Option number 2 is to interlace your fingers behind you. Again, if you need the strap, you can go ahead and bridge the gap with the strap. Okay. Interlace your fingers. Tendency is to want to lock everything out. So you're going to bend your elbows, draw your shoulder blades away from your ears, and also like a turtle's head, so we're coming out of shell. The lungs go forward as the shell of your shoulder blades slide back. Engage your biceps. You'll feel more of a heart opener that way. And breathe across your collarbones. So yeah, there could be a pretty strong stretch in the back of your legs and a lot of length along the front of your spine. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale, and take a deep breath in. Great, and then from there, hands come down. You can either stay here, or if you want another hand stretch, the palms are going to turn first out to the sides and then back. So you're sort of turning them externally. And the fingerprints are on the floor, knuckles on the floor. Peel your palms away from the floor. So this is a palmar fascia stretch. And as you lift your inner thighs, you can also bend your elbows back a little. And this should give you more stretch in the palms. It's really good, especially for those who do a lot of keyboarding, typewriting, a lot of manual labors. Can bunch up the wrists, bunch up the palmar fascia. So this gives everything a stretch out. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale, and one last time, breath in. Okay, great. And so from here, in our forward fold, you're going to bend your knees, heel toe yourself a little closer together, and then come all the way up. Glutes down, lungs up, arms sweep up overhead, and exhale, palms come through heart center. All right, great. So Revolved Triangle is next, Utthita Trikonasana. You can come up to the front of your mat. I'm just going to demonstrate this on the other side here, so I can turn toward you. But the front foot, the right foot is forward, left foot back, and start with your front knee bent. And a lot of people tend to want to their main goal is to straighten the leg, or even worse, lock it out. But that tends to skew the hips all over the place. Bend your knee a little bit and feel how much option you have now in terms of being able to swivel your hips toward the top of the mat. You can keep the front knee bent, pubic bone back, and the lungs go forward. Block in your left hand to the floor. Okay? So from here, if you're going to straighten this leg at all, two considerations. Often when people straighten the leg, the foot kind of rolls out. I'm caricaturizing it, but try to get the big toe mound rooted to start, and then from there, slide your right hip back. Now as the hip goes back, lungs go forward, and this preps you for a twist. Okay, so you can keep your hand on the block on the floor, right arm out, take a deep breath in, arch your back a little, and then exhale, roll your belly up toward the ceiling. Now drive your back heel into the floor. So the foot fall, both feet nice and solid. Eyes can stay on the ground if you'd like. Tendency is for the shoulder blades to hug up toward the ears. So draw your shoulder blades away from your ears. Heart's more open that way. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, roll your heart a little higher. Yeah, and breathe into and enjoy this twist. So first big twist of the practice. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. You can look down, de-rotate your spine, so heart looking down. Bend your front knee for some options, and you're going to squeeze the muscles of your back body to arrive upright, and then step up to the top of your mat. And then switch legs. So left foot's forward, right foot's back, and the block is in your right hand. Okay? So bend your front knee a little bit. You can keep your left hand on your hip to kind of sense where the hips are. The tendency is for the hips to kind of go out into the middle of nowhere on the right. So you bend your front knee. This gives your hips so many options now. And you turn your hips toward the top of the mat. Big toe stays rooted. And you're going to lengthen the lungs forward. Okay, and we're prepping for the Revolved Triangle. So I know this is Pyramid's wonderful pose. We're not going there though, so we're taking a different route toward Shavasana. So big toe mound roots. This hip slides back, also gives you some nice kidney space here. You're going to lengthen your lungs forward, left arm out to the left, and exhale, rotate your belly up toward the sky. Now I'm looking up, you don't have to. Eyes can be wherever you want, as long as the neck is okay with that. Eyes down, head forward, up, whatever you wish. Tendency is for shoulder blades to sort of congeal around the ears. We're going to slide them away, whisk them away, arch your back a little bit, exhale, roll skin below navel a little higher. And then breathe into and enjoy the twist. Now to go up, you need to press the feet down. So really, mind's eye to your feet. This is dynamic, right? There's so many things you can pay attention to. Feet into the floor, fingertips up toward the ceiling. And all that's coming from is the power of the core coming out into the limbs. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And then exhale, come out of that. You're going to de-rotate, bend your front knee a little bit, and then inhale, arch your back all the way up, and exhale, step up to the top of the mat. Okay, very good. So a Revolve Lunge, the last big twist we're going to do standing. Right foot's forward, left foot steps back. So again, I'm going to demonstrate this way. But from here, you're now going to bend this knee, and there's a lot less foot on the ground because this back heel is up. Okay, so this is more of a balance challenge. Okay? The left hand, you can take it on the block. Because this front knee is bending, if you'd like to take it on the floor, go ahead. I'm just going to demonstrate with the block. Okay? And then from here, you're going to lengthen up through the spine, back leg nice and strong. If anything gets tired, it's actually the back leg. Inhale, lengthen up through the belly. Exhale, roll your navel past your front thigh up toward the ceiling. And then from here, turn your palm overhead and reach your top arm by your ear. Okay? And 2 more breaths here. So drive the heel back, roll your belly up. Eyes can be wherever you want. All right, now drive your feet in through the floor. This is a balance challenge as an option. If it's available, you're going to lift your lungs a little higher to lift your bottom hand off the floor or off the block, and now you reach both arms forward. So you're holding the twist, back leg way back, fingertips forward, jazz hands twice more. Take a deep breath in, big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, come out of that, step up, and we'll switch sides. So, left foot's at the top of your mat, right foot steps back, that's coming to a lunge. Right hand is on the block or on the floor. Okay? And whatever height you use on the first side, just use it on the second side. Okay? So, back heel has a mission. way back, way back. And then the feet driving through the floor. To promote the twist here, you can take your hand to your belly and roll your navel past your front thigh and up toward the ceiling. So now we're in a twist. Draw your shoulder blades away from your ears. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of limbs going in a whole bunch of different ways. Get that power from the core. Fan the flames with your breath. Top arm, you can turn the palm past the front of your mat and bring your top arm by your ear. All right, very good. So deep inhales and exhales here. You can stay here if this is enough of a balance challenge for you. Go ahead and stay here. If it's available, you drive your feet into the floor because they're going to bear all the weight. Yeah, and you lift your heart a little bit to lift your fingers and reach both arms forward. And you breathe as much as you can. Fingers forward as the heel reaches back. Fan the flames. 3 more times. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. Breath in. Exhale. And one last time. Take a huge inhale. Come back out of that. Move the block out of the way. Plant your hands. And let's escape out of this into downward facing dog. All right. Very nice. Wow, so check out the blood everywhere, right? This is a bit of cardio work. Everything's a little bit hotter. Legs warm, arms warm, navel warm. Fan the flames and open your toes a little bit, open your fingers a little bit. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, a big exhale. And one last time, breathe in. Okay, great. So take your knees down, come back into child's pose. If that is not good for your knees, you can just stay on hands and knees and round your back a little bit in cat. So other than that, you can come back, relax your head on the ground, and breathe into your belly a few times. Yeah, breathe here. We have one more task, and that's to do some abdominal work here before we start to slow the practice down. So deep inhale here, big exhale. Okay, great. And then come up and around to seated. You're going to take the right foot, let me demonstrate this the other way. You're going to take your right foot forward, left foot comes into your inner thigh. And inhale here, you lengthen belly, you rotate your belly to the right, and then you fold down your right leg. Hands can be on thigh, hands can be on shin. If you need a strap, like a strap around your foot, you take it there. And from here, you go to where you can go, well, using the back of your legs, okay? The right hamstring might be getting a stretch, or low back might be getting a stretch. From here, we're gonna take the name of this pose literally. This pose literally is called Janu Shirshasana, which means head to knee. And in this case, it almost means like the crown of your head. So you can bend your elbows out to the side and really take cat pose here, draw your navel in and round all the way up into your neck. So this is less about, so many people teach this like kind of like heart to shin, but the literal translation is head to knee, which indicates a pretty big spinal rounding. So there's not many places to breathe when you're rounding that way, so that's already its own form of abdominal work. So breathe into your abdomen another few times. Okay. And you use your back body to arrive back up. Okay, and please take your left foot forward and right foot comes into inner thigh. You're going to arch your back a little bit, roll your belly to the left, and then hands can be on thigh, hands can be on shin, hands to feet. You can use a strap if you'd like. Okay. And so get this set up where it feels nice and solid in the leg, quads engaged a little bit, tailbones coming, tip of the tailbone sliding back a little with your sitting bones. And then from here, instead of like cowing it forward, we're going to cat it up and over. So it's a very mindful sort of rounding of your spine to take the crown of your head toward your knee. Okay. Elbows can go out to the side. That helps fan your shoulder blades out to the sides. And with this deep rounding, you can stay in there. With this deep rounding, breathe into the abdomen, just kind of knowing that there's not a lot of space for it. So there's already some like pressure, and it's almost like giving yourself your own resistance for your breathing muscles. So we'll pause here another 3 or 4 breaths. Breathe here. Okay. And then you can make your way back up. Squeeze the muscles of your back body to arrive upright. Very good. And then you extend your right leg forward. All right. So drive your heels out. Open your toes. Interlace your fingers and press your palms up. Okay. So this is Dandasana with our arms overhead. All right. Either stay here, and if it feels like you're falling back, so this winds up being cat, right? So you can use some of that sort of cow power in our low back and lift our lungs up. If you're a natural backbender, you do have to add some cat. So it's a hybrid. And you can either stay here or keep on lifting your lungs. Try to lift one leg up a couple inches. The tendency is going to be to cat it out. So draw your sacrum in a little more. And then you bring that leg down. And then same thing on the other side. Notice the tendency to want to like lift up with cat. Arch your back. Lift up with your psoas. A lot of stability through hips and low back. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. And one last time. Breathe in. All right. Release your hands. Release your legs. The right foot stays forward. That's not true. The left foot stays forward. Place your right foot flat on the floor. This is Mrityasana C. So your left leg straight, right foot's in. From here, you're going to arch your back, and it's almost like you're trying to draw your sacrum towards your spine. So that helps you lengthen up through the spine. Then from here, now we can, just like we did in our our lunge twist, you can roll your belly past your thigh. Hand can go to the floor. I'm also fond of using a block. It just gives me more options and a better place to use my arm to facilitate the twist. Okay? So you can press down your hand to the floor or into a block. I'm demonstrating the block. Hug this thigh in, and then inhale, arch your back. Exhale, see if there's any twist. And then you just try that several times. Inhale, you arch. Exhale, you twist. Inhale, arch. Exhale, you twist. And twice more. Inhale, arch. Exhale, twist. And deep breath in. Big exhale. Okay, great. And then you de-rotate. Extend your right leg forward. Please draw your left knee into in towards your chest. Foot on the floor. And then from here, arch your back. So it's a little bit of that cow. We're trying to go into extension. Okay. You're going to arch your back so that the sacrum goes toward the thigh. Inhale here. And then from here, you can twist to the left. Let me turn around so I can demonstrate that again. So you can take your hand to belly, roll your belly back. I like the hand on the block. I just like the block. It just gives me such a good angle. I wish to use my arms to help twist. And then as you inhale, arch your back, take a deep breath in. Exhale, roll belly to the left. This knee hugs in tight. This hand presses into block. And in this way, your arms can facilitate the twist in your abdomen. And breathe as much as you can, which is not a lot because there's a thigh in the way. Inhale, you arch your back. And exhale, you see if there's any twist. And then inhale, you arch. Exhale, you twist. And try that 3 more times. All right, deep breath in. And big exhale. exhale. Okay, and then you derotate, come back around. Okay, and so now here's a sequence feature. So I know everyone who's done Ashtanga yoga knows Navasana, boat pose. So really though, there's actually two boats, and I think everyone that knows boat knows the one where you're trying to get your spine into a little bit more cow. So we're gonna try that one first. You can keep your hands on your knees if you'd like. The tendency for this, for all boats, is to kind of be back here. We're gonna go opposite. You're gonna draw your sacrum in, arch your back a little bit, lift your lungs. And you gotta stay here. Option number two, you can reach your arms forward. Okay? If you'd like to, sort of keep lifting, but you're gonna sort of lean back a little bit so that so your feet come off the floor. And if that's available, you can stay here. You can extend your legs a little bit. You can extend your legs a lot, however you want to do. But the more you do with your legs, the more you're going to want to round, arch your back. Arch your back for this, with the Iyengar system calls paripurna, so like around the belly button. Okay, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, feet on the floor, come out of that. So that's full boat or complete boat. The half boat, now we're rounding and using our cat spine. So from here, you reach forward or take your hands onto a knee. Hamstrings could work too on this one, but hands on knees or hamstrings. And you can start rounding your spine. Now you're gonna round, which means you're going leg down. So way, way down. And this winds up being a lot more abdominal work. Okay? You can draw your shoulder blades away from your ears. You can either stay here, or if the feet feel light enough, you can extend your legs. All right, this is harder to breathe here because your abdominals are doing so much. Try your best. 3 more breaths. Take a big inhale, big exhale, breath in, big exhale, and one last time. Take a deep breath in. Now to come out of this, use the cow. So you're going to arch your back, lift your lungs up toward the ceiling, and you arrive out of that. Okay, great. So from here, let's come onto our knees, and we're going to come up and try a baby camel. So we've definitely warmed up the arms enough. We've surely warmed up the legs enough. This should feel solid. And toes can be pointing back, or you can curl your toes under. Either's fine with me, whatever feels best for you. And then from here, we're going to take hands to glutes. Okay. The tendency is for the shoulder blades to kind of be forward. We're going to draw the shoulder blades back and in. Also, as best you can, slide your elbows toward one another. And this peels the heart open already. And we felt this before. We felt it in, like every time we've interlaced our fingers. Okay? So try to get that same sensation. The elbows are already bent. Engage your biceps and try to open the heart as much as you can. So it's very much of a heart opener. And then with whatever's left over, you can sort of tilt back a little bit. And now you're using both the power of the full boat and the half boat, both your abdominals and your psoas, to responsibly go back and make sure that your low back feels okay. So by back, a lot of people think back and down. I think back and up. So try to lift your lungs up and instead send your elbows down. And then breathe across heart center 2 more times here. Take a deep breath in, big exhale, and one last time, breath in. Okay, great. Now use your abdominals to come back up and exhale from there. You release and breathe. Couple shoulder blade rolls in one direction. Couple shoulder blade rolls in the other direction. Okay, great. And then please lie on your back. And we're going to start arms out wide. Arms out wide with a supine chair. So we've done chair pose already, like that's our standing posture, right? From here, we're going to, well, option number 1 is to stay in chair. Option number 2 is to drive your heels up toward the ceiling. Okay. And pause here. Now, if the hamstrings are a bit tight, straightening them will be a lot of effort for your psoas. Okay, so dare to like bend the knees a little bit in order to keep your low back from like grounding out. In this one, I like to have a natural neutral spine, which means a gentle inward curve, and then your mid-back is down. So there's both cow and cat in the spine. So it's like, are you rounding or are you extending? And at this point, the answer is yes. You're doing both. That's what stability is. And you can either stay here. If you'd like, you can take your legs about 6 inches forward and pause there. I'll say feet, about 6 inches forward. And you can either stay there, or you can take it 6 inches forward. These are all options. You can either stay there, or take it 6 inches forward. The further you go, the more you tend to want to like lift, so you keep the cat in the mid-back as you take your legs another 6 inches down. And one last time, take another 6 inches. Okay, and then you come back up, press your heels up, and exhale from there. You release. All right, so if there's been any tension in your face, accruing, relax. Relax the face, waggle your jaw, move your eyes around. And from here, find your strap. We'll stay on our backs. As you take your right leg up in the air, you want to hold it there. Okay? So Supta Padangusthasana 1. As this heel presses up, down leg, send that heel out. Okay. So stay in the pose. I'll get up so I can describe it. But yeah, so the top heel drives up, bottom heel drives out. You've found your natural neutral curve through a combination of flexion exercises and extension exercises, and then you sort of split the difference and returning to the source, like right in the middle. So we did a fair amount of work with the feet today, grounding, opening them. So feel how present the feet are, the three-dimensionality of our feet, and breathe into belly another few times. Okay, so deep breath in. And then as you exhale from there, release the leg. Pause with both legs relaxed. I mean, really, this is a Shavasana for a moment. All right. And then from there, please draw your left knee into chest. You can take a strap around your left foot and extend your left leg up in the air. This heel presses up, top heel presses up, bottom heel presses forward. And notice that as we're lying on our back and sort of thoughtfully guiding ourselves through this pose, the spine's neither an extension, it's neither in cow nor in cat, it's both. And we're really returning to the breathing, we're really returning toward like a middle path in the spine between extension and flexion. And breathe here another few breaths. Okay, very good. So on your next exhale, you can remove the strap, release the foot, take a little mini shava, a mini relaxation here. Notice all the things we've been working on. And then from here, let's take a bridge pose. So we're going to do first an active bridge and then a passive bridge. The active bridge here, you're going to peel the spine up off the floor, press your feet down to lift your hips up. And then either with a strap, you can bridge the gap with the strap, fingers underneath your hips, interlace fingers, and you can rock side to side, bring your elbows and arms closer together. The tendency for everyone is to lock out elbows. But watch what happens when you bend your elbows just a little, engage your biceps a lot, and then take the entire length of the bicep straight down into the floor. It helps peel the heart up. Okay, so this is a belly breath that continues into the heart center. So full thoracic-abdominal breathing. For the more advanced yogis, if you'd like, one-legged bridge pose, you take your feet closer together, draw one knee into the chest, and you drive that heel up toward the ceiling. Okay, face soft while all this is happening. And then you place that foot on the floor. Find your bridge, shift the weight, drive one foot down as you hug your other knee in, and then you press your heel up toward the ceiling. If the top leg doesn't straighten, that's fine. Breathe a lot. Okay, great. And then feet on the floor. You're going to remove your arms, lower your spine to the ground. There we go. Yeah, check out the sort of rush of sensation in the blood. Lymphatics come back into the arms. Okay, and we get a chance to rest on top of a block. So I'm sure a lot of you know this, but just a quick recap, there are 3 heights for a block. This is the shortest, this is medium, this is highest. You can take whatever height you want. We'll be in a relaxed bridge for about like 2 minutes. If there's any SI issues, I recommend taking it lengthwise. So you're not only supporting your sacrum, but you're supporting the hip bones as well, meaning you're supporting across your SI joint. Okay? So the block underneath the hips, this allows your upper body to completely relax. And this is our only relaxed inversion of the practice. So after all this sort of work, after all the engagement work we've done with the belly can relax, and the inversion sort of tilts the organs to depressurize lower abdomen. And basically your organic body comes toward your breathing muscle. So the belly sort of comes to the source. At this point, I feel like the breath is the source of this pose. So allow your abdominal organs to relax into your breathing muscle. And it might take, we'll be here for another 45 seconds. It might take the entire time to realize that there's just this slight holding, slight gripping in the belly. If there is, there's no judgment, it's just a fact. You can observe that gripping. Oftentimes just the power of the observation means it starts to ungrip and relax. So another few breaths into your abdomen. Okay. Great. So this is at like a 10 or 15% effort. You're going to press your feet into the floor, engage your glutes, that will support your sacrum, and you lift your hips off the block. Block slides out of your way. Lower your sacrum to the floor. And then drop both knees to the left. And then drop both knees to the right. And then drop both knees to the left. And both knees to the right. And then from there, you make your way to center. Extend one leg. Extend your other leg. And let's prep for Shavasana. So find a relaxation. If you need a blanket over you, because we are cooling down from a very heated practice, go ahead and take that, extra clothing, if there's a blanket close by. And if you can't quite relax on the floor, I don't know what props you have, but you can always throw like a blanket underneath the thighs, a couple pillows. And then snuggle down and settle into a Shavasana, where we can really tap back into our source. So we did a lot of work around the periphery. Notice your feet, the three-dimensionality of your feet. Relax all the bones in your feet. Notice the feedback, the percolations, sensations of your palms. All the work we've done with our arms in this practice. Relax palms. Feel all the bones of your wrists soften and settle. The legs were responsible for a lot of things today. Feel your leg bones soften. Relax the muscles around your hip joint, where your femur bone connects into your hip socket. Relax all the muscles around your socket. Guide your awareness to your shoulder blades. The whole shoulder complex, shoulder joints relax, biceps relax. And feel your shoulder blades relax away from your ribs and into the floor. Here, guide your awareness to your abdomen, our power center. Notice the three-dimensionality of our power center. And relax your internal organs, belly, and then allow your breathing to feel light and relaxed. Notice your lung space in your rib basket, and relax your lungs into the back of your ribs. And you can stay here, observing your internal landscape. I'd like to read a short stanza of a poem by Rumi. When light returns to its source, it takes nothing of what it has illuminated. When light returns to its source, it takes nothing of what it has illuminated. Very good. So from here, guide your awareness to your breathing. Notice your breath. And then start to take some gently deeper inhales and exhales. Guide a breath or two around your torso. Guide a breath through your hips, down your legs, as if you're breathing into your feet. Guide a breath through your shoulders, down your arms, breathe into your palms. And then finally breathe into your brain and exhale down your face. Great. And then please draw one knee into your chest, give your knee a good hug, sweep a breath into your low back. And then switch legs, other knee in. Breathe the breath across your low back. And then please draw both knees in. You can roll over to one side. Pause on your side for a moment to feel what it feels like to move again after a brief period of stillness. And then from there, make your way back up to a comfortable seat. Okay. Great. So thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. I hope this practice feels it was illuminating, hopefully. Hopefully you got a chance to tap back into your own source. Thank you so much for your practice and for watching this. Once again, this is my first week of my weekly subscription class. If you're interested in supporting this project, the details are on my website, rgyoga.com, or Frameworks Yoga on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much.